The Toy Tune Podcast. More fun than a barrel full of BB-8s.
Hey everybody, this is ArKay with the Toy Tune. Willie has been asking me to make a video of this Coleco Zaxxon tabletop for quite some time, and I'm finally getting around to doing it. If you remember, these tabletops were pretty popular back in the 80s. I still have mine with the box and the instructions. It's one of those things that just survived over the years. So let's take a look. First of all, it came in this really nice varnish finished printed box, which is tall. This is 1 foot tall by 10 inches wide. They did a nice job. They got the Zaxxon logo, which whenever I saw that always excited me. Zaxxon was one of my favorite games, although one of the toughest games, I think, from that era. They really impressed that it was a 3D space battle like the real Zaxxon arcade game. And back here you can see the Zaxxon cabinet from the arcade, and then you can see the tabletop version, which they did a really good job kind of comparing the two. They look similar. I mean, this obviously has a very vertical shape, but pretty good for a tabletop back then. And again, we get more graphics. We get the 3D effect with the spaceship coming from the right off the screen, and those are right from the arcade graphics. On the back, you get 9 different screenshots of how this thing plays, and it looks, for a Coleco tabletop, it's similar. You got the 3/4 isometric view. You've got the walls. You've got the fuel tanks. You get the Zaxxon robot down here. This is interesting. 380 best. This is probably one of the lowest scoring tabletop games, and you'll see why later on. A repeat of the graphic. It came from KB, and I remember I bought this on sale. Up here, we got the KB price tag. It originally listed for $53.99, marked down to $27.99, and then I got it, and I don't know what that is there. But I remember I didn't spend $27.99. I actually got it for a little bit cheaper. This came out, I think, in 82, maybe 83, and I got it like 84, I think. And there were a few of them left on the shelf. I was looking for one, finally found one, and I had to have it. So we'll take a look and see what it looks like inside the box. If I haven't mentioned it already, this is a big box. This box is 1 foot tall, 10 inches wide. So you know that this unit is going to be large. The way it came was, it was sealed in a plastic bag, and it had the styrofoam supports in here so it wouldn't bounce around. I jumped ahead. You didn't need to see it sliding out, but that's how it came. And if I remove the styrofoam, you're already beginning to see that this is a large unit, which I really appreciated. I appreciated the size of this thing. Also inside we had the standard Coleco manual, kind that came with all the tabletops, and also very similar to the ColecoVision and the ColecoVision cartridges. Here's the manual. It's printed in black and white. Had the typical game control and features, how to insert the game batteries. Takes 4 D batteries. There's a Zaxxon, explains a Zaxxon demonstration mode where you can turn it on to level 1 or level 2 while pressing the fire button, and it'll give you a demo mode of how to play. So they tell you, they suggest watching the demonstration before you play, because, you know, after all, it's Zaxxon. Had an 8-way control joystick, shows you graphics, the force field, the fuel tanks. There were tanks in this. Unlike the actual arcade game, these look like little tanks. And of course, there's a representation of the Zaxxon robot. Instructions step by step how to play. Scoring chart. Again, very low scoring game. Fuel arsenal, 4 points. Tank, 6 points. Missile, 2 points. Zaxxon himself, 20 points. The difference between this is you don't need to keep an eye on your fuel. You only get points for blowing up the fuel tanks. You don't actually run out of fuel in this. Believe me, you don't get time to run out of fuel in this game. And they have information about avoiding battery drain, care of it. Now this is interesting. The fun of discovery. This was in every single ColecoVision cartridge. This instruction booklet will provide the basic information you need to get started playing Zaxxon. And if you notice, the spacing here is pretty wide. This was like something that they used in every ColecoVision manual. And they kept a wide enough space here so they could drop in almost the name of any video game. And they also used it on their tabletop units. But it is only the beginning. You'll find that the tabletop game is full of special features to make Zaxxon exciting every time you play. Experiment with different techniques and enjoy the game. And except for the word tabletop game, in the cartridges they had it replaced, I think, with cartridge or something like that. You would have to check. But this fun of discovery paragraph was in every manual, which I thought was kind of interesting. Anyway, this is the manual. Now we'll take a closer look at what's in there. Here's the Zaxxon cabinet itself. It looks very similar to the arcade game. They have the same graphics on there, showing the directions of the ship in relation to the shadow, how to guide the ship using the shadow to help navigation. You got your fire buttons. You turn it on by selecting a skill, 1 to the left, 2 to the right. They even put a graphic on the top of the red button that would be on the actual Zaxxon arcade machine, although you just have to use the fire button here. The side graphics duplicate what's on the arcade. And the bottom, you have the battery compartment, which slides open, drops down, and there's your compartment for your 4D batteries, which makes this a pretty heavy unit. So this is, if we measure this unit here is 9 inches tall, almost 7 inches wide. By comparison, their other Coleco tabletops, here is Galaxian. And Galaxian, as you can tell, it's almost as tall. And really big difference in size. As suggested in the user's manual, if you slide the level, which is also the on-off button, skill in the middle, it just labels that these are skills. You have level 1, you have level 2. In the middle position, it's off. But if you move it to either side and you hold down the fire button, you'll get a demo mode. And what's interesting is, to get the 3D effect, there's a mirror in there that's reflecting what is going on. And it does give an illusion of 3D. Now, you don't get any sound in the demo mode, but you do see how it scores, how you can fly. Obvious things that are missing from the arcade game is the floor of the asteroid. You don't get the tiles. You don't get a lot of the walls on the side. You get representations of the walls on the left-hand side. But it does the same kind of thing. It goes, you're over one asteroid, you're fighting, you leave the first asteroid, you come across the dogfight in space, you approach the second asteroid. When you're flying over the second asteroid, unlike the arcade game, Zaxxon pops up wherever it wants to pop up. He's not at the end of the asteroid. If you can blow up Zaxxon, you start all over again, and of course it gets harder. But it's a very low scoring game. As you can tell, in the demo mode, there's only 12 points so far that this demo has racked up. I am standing behind the camera. I'm not really getting a good shot, a good view inside. I'm making all kinds of excuses of why I'm about to play this and play badly. I have knocked out the Zaxxon robot. I have gone a few rounds. This is not an easy game, but it is a lot of fun. And if you like Zaxxon, this should satisfy your fix to play Zaxxon. So I'm going to turn it off, and I am trying to see. I'm going to go with level 1. Level 1 doesn't have the force fields over the walls that you have to climb over. I'm going to do my best to try and play this, but you're going to notice there were some sounds. There were shooting sounds. There's notes, some musical notes to signify the beginning and the end of the game. They had to do that. You don't get that in the arcade game, but it's necessary for this. So let's give it a shot. So there you go. I didn't even make it off the asteroid. But this is, trust me, this is a fun game. I've had this since it came out. I really enjoy this game. If you can find this game out there, I highly recommend getting it. It makes sort of like, it looks interesting on the shelf, especially if you have the other Coleco tabletop side by side. It looks like a little mini arcade. Anyway, that's Zaxxon by Sega, by Coleco, tabletop. Good luck. Hope you can find it. Hope you have fun with it. Hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Thanks for watching.
Oh boy! Yeah!
Hey, there's Hasbro! Hasbro makes toys! What's new, Hasbro?
Pretty sneaky, sis.
Remember, you can tell it's Mattel. It's...
Okay, let them go. Some of the great SSP racers for 72.
M-A-R-X spells Mark, world's largest toy maker.
Remember, every boy wants a Remco toy, and so do girls. And remember, if it isn't Duncan, it isn't Yo-Yo.